Hey everyone, welcome to one of the last videos of Planning 10 Assignment 3.4 Job Seeking. This is the assignment where you create your own resume and you create your own cover letter. This, to me, is the most important assignment that you're going to do here at Planning 10. And it's really, really important that you get it right and you do it well, because guess what? You're going to be using this resume and you're going to be updating it for the rest of your life. So very, very important assignment and very, very useful assignment. So let's get to it and let's do it right. Okay, so the first part of the assignment 3.4 is to create that resume. So part A, creating a resume. And I'm going to go over some tips and tricks on how to create a resume, because again, it's so important that you do this really well. Otherwise, you're not going to get a job unless you know somebody. So the first thing it says is use the information presented in this unit along with the resources below to help you create your own resume. So there's two different types of resources that I highly suggest on how to create a resume. It's Google Docs and Microsoft Office. They both have templates. But before we start that, I want you to click on this Write a Resume from Services for Youth Canada, because it's a really good example. So it says writing a resume, what is a resume, types of resumes, functional resume, and it goes down the list. But one of the best things it has here is this top 10 resume tips, and it's very important. So we're going to kind of go over it. So think ahead. If you wait until the last minute to hand in your resume, you could miss the deadline and risk not being considered for a job. It's important. You should have this resume ready to go to hand out. And when I was a student, I had a stack of resumes in the glove compartment of my truck, and I got a few jobs like that. So it's a lot like a business card today, just handing out your resume or having that e-resume available and ready. The other tip number 2, tailor your resume. Include information on your resume associated with the jobs you're applying for. This is huge. It's so important. Make sure, and I'm going to talk about this more when I open the resume, but make sure you're including information on your resume associated with the job you're applying for. It's so important. So if you're applying for a serving job, make sure that all your experience and everything is tailored towards that job. Make sure your objective is tailored towards that job. 10 minutes of fiddling with your resume and just customizing it a little bit is the difference between getting a job and not getting a job. And believe me, I've been in the hiring position. Absolutely, I throw out resumes that don't do this, because if they're not willing to take those 10 minutes, then I'm not willing to hire them. So number 3, chunk it out. If there's a lot of information, break it into sections, and we'll talk about that when I open up a template. Use action words. Focus on things you have accomplished and avoid starting every sentence with I. Don't start sentences with I. Try and be a little bit more creative there. Number 5, can't stress it enough, proofread. If there is a spelling mistake, chances are your resume will be rejected, especially now when most major companies, you upload your resume and they're automatically rejected with any spelling mistakes. So they go through a computer before they even get to the person. And if there's a spelling mistake or a grammatical error, they won't go to the next step. The computer will automatically filter them out. So make sure that the grammar and the spelling is correct, and don't just rely on spell check. It's so important that number 6 is repeat tip 5. Seriously, go through it again. Number 7, make it presentable. It has to look good. It has to look unique. Make sure that you have your resume in such a way that it's you, it's personal, and maybe you'll have color in it. Anything that catches the eye. Believe me, a lot of new resumes look very boring. They look very plain. Put in color, maybe put in a picture of yourself, whatever it takes to make it stand out. I had a friend who used to be a very good calligrapher, and he literally wrote out his resume by hand and then photocopied it. It was beautiful, and that's how he stood out, and he got quite a few jobs from that. So something to think about. Number 8, keep it concise. Try to keep your resume as short as possible. Ideally 1 page, 2 pages max. It's really difficult to keep it to 1 page. 2 pages is pretty normal, and sometimes 2 pages can be better than 1. Number 9, be honest. Don't lie on your resume. It's just like I think it was Abraham Lincoln that said, if you don't lie about anything, then you have nothing that you have to remember, right? So the truth is very important, and when you get into the interview process, if you've lied on your resume, then that's where you could get caught. And number 10, be professional. Remember, it's a business document, so don't include unnecessary things, jokes, stuff like that. This is not the place for it. So those are the top 10 resume tips. And next, we're going to get into how to actually build this resume. When you're creating a resume from scratch, you don't need to start from scratch. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. Programs like Google Docs and Microsoft Word have templates that you just click on, and then you kind of just fill in the blanks. So if you look at Google Docs itself, you can start a new document, and if you hit blank, it just opens up a blank one. But there's actually resume templates that you can do as well. So there's looks like there's 4 different ones, and you can click on them to open them up, and generally they'll have all the different sections that you need to have. So Resume Swiss, opening up, and remember CVs, that stands for Curriculum Vitae, which is the same as Resume. In Europe, they call them CVs. So it has all the different parts here that you need: skills, experience, education, and awards. All of these kind of things are basically what you want in a resume. It's an excellent start to a template, and you can do this for free on Google Docs, or if you open up Microsoft Word, do File, New. If you put in resume here, all the templates for resume come up, and there's lots. There's 60 templates for resume, which is pretty amazing. And you just kind of go through them, and you find ones you like this one, for example, has a picture that you could upload that's kind of unique and different. And some of them are very list-based. So, for example, this functional resume: objectives, professional achievements, skills, work history, and then there's more images, education, and references. That's one that I like to use a lot. There's a whole bunch you can check out. So we're just going to click on this functional resume one and go into this. And the great thing about Microsoft Word is that it's able to fill in a lot of things for you from information that you put into the program. So it filled in my name now, which was pretty awesome. So it's got, again, those different sections: objective, professional, achievements. Here I might get rid of professional and just put achievements. In this particular area, you could put things like honor roll, principals list. Maybe you're in scouting and you got a Chief Scout Award. Maybe you went to the provincials in hockey, or maybe you're the MVP of your hockey team. Things like that. These are where you can put in your accomplishments, and I'm sure you all have at least 1 or 2 accomplishments that you can put in. I wouldn't put in more than 3 here, though. With your skills, you're going to put in things like computer skills, or technical skills, or spreadsheet skills, or basically any skill that has to go with the business of what you're applying for. And this is where you can tailor it to the specific job that you're going to buy. And remember, or that you're not going to buy, that you're going to apply for. And remember, that step is really, really important. People do not hire students, or they do not hire employees that don't do that step, because it tells them that you don't care. And you're just carpet bombing everybody with resumes, and you're just handing them out all over the place. So if you take the extra 10 minutes and really customize it for that particular field and that particular job, you're way ahead. And the skills is where you could have it. So maybe you're applying to be a server. This is where you could put serving skills in, such as like able to carry 3 dishes at once, or whatever, or have point of sale experience on micros, or whatever. Your work history, don't put more than 3, but make them the 3 most important or most relevant jobs that you've already done to where you're applying. So, like for example, if I were applying for a teaching job, I would put all the different jobs that I've done in the teaching field. I wouldn't put that I was a dishwasher at White Spot in high school, because it's not relevant. So make sure that they're relevant, and I know a lot of you are thinking, oh geez, I've never had a job before, I'm applying for my first job. Well, what do I put here? Things like babysitting can go here. Any volunteer work can go here. All that kind of stuff can be in your work history. So it's something to think about. Your education, you're pretty much only going to have your high school education. So you want to put the BC Dogwood degree there, because that's what you're going with. Your school name, the school that you're located at the moment, and the date. And then you might want to include your GPA, brief summary of your relevant coursework. So maybe you're applying to work at KPMG and you've taken Accounting 11. Perfect. Put it in there. Maybe you're applying at a kitchen and you've done culinary arts. Put it in there. Those kind of things. Also, in your education, you can put things like a first aid course, or maybe you've done your level 1 ski instructor or snowboard instructor. All those are education, so coursework can definitely go in the education as well. And then your references section, I would suggest at least 3 references. And with your references, you want to include people that are in positions of authority or in upstanding positions in society. So for example, one person who I would try to get a reference from for sure would be your principal, providing you're on good terms with him and he or she would give you a good reference. That's something that's someone who would be an excellent reference. And if I were hiring and I saw that the principal recommended you, I would definitely give you an interview at the very least. Other excellent references would be people in the community, maybe a teacher that you've done particularly well with in the course. A coach is always good because she or he has seen your work ethic. So those type of people are really, really good for that. So that's kind of your entire resume. Make sure you put in your contact information at the top: street address, city, postal code, your telephone number, because they need to be able to get a hold of you. If you have a website, for example, a LinkedIn account, I would highly, highly recommend including this on your resume. The world is going digital, and so should your resume. And then your email address. So just a whole bunch of different ways that they can get a hold of you. So let's move on. Okay, the next part B, is to create a cover letter. Now, as someone that was hiring people or employees, I would not hire anyone that did not give me a cover letter. And not only would I not hire anyone that did not give me a cover letter, I would not hire anyone that did not give me a customized cover letter for my business. So it is really important that you give these cover letters out if you want to get a job. If you really, really want the job that you're applying for, make sure you put out that cover letter. And it doesn't take that long to write, maybe 20 minutes. So what you want to do first when you're doing this assignment is writing a cover letter for Services of Youth Canada. Open that link, and I've already opened it. So if you scroll down to the bottom, it says top 10 cover letter tips. Read these. It's super important, every single one of these, and I cannot stress all of them enough. Do your homework. Learn what the company, organization is like. What is their culture? Culture is so important in business these days. And it's very important that you fit the culture. 2, follow the instructions. Be sure to include any information that was requested in the job posting. So if you've seen the job posting, follow all the instructions in your cover letter. Number 3 is really important. Don't just restate your resume. You've already given them your resume. This is an opportunity to show them something else and something unique. So put that in your cover letter. Again, personalize your letter. When possible, address your cover letter to a specific person. use their name and title and make sure that the spelling of the name is correct. This is a big step. So at the top, don't ever put in a resume "to whom it may concern." You need to find out who is in charge of the hiring at that particular place, and then you put their name on it. Dear so-and-so. Never put "to whom it may concern." If someone handed me a resume that said "to whom it may concern," unless I was incredibly desperate, I wouldn't give them an interview. I would choose the person who figured out that I was the one hiring to begin with. Number 5, tailor your letter to the job. Just like your resume, make sure the skills and experiences you highlight in your cover letter connect to the job you're applying for. It just makes sense. Number 6, presentation. Again, make sure it looks nice, but also make sure that it looks professional. Times New Roman, size 12, those kind of things. Number 7, break it down. Make your cover letter easy to read by breaking it down into short paragraphs. You should have about 2 to 3 paragraphs maximum, but make sure that it is in paragraph form. People do not want to read huge, long chunks of text. Number 8, use a professional tone, just like I said before. Obviously, be respectful. Use big words. Big words often help. Shows that you're intelligent. Number 9, be brief. Right? Be brief, concise, and to the point. And then number 10, proofread. Make sure that there's no spelling errors. Make sure that all your information is correct. It's an incredibly important part. Now, when you're done that, what you want to do is you want to go back to Google Docs, Docs Home, and the same thing. If you hit more, it will have letters. So you could click on one of these and it will open as like a business letter, an informal letter, and it shows a template to what you want to work with. And I would suggest using the same kind of format. So if you use the Resume Swiss, I might use the Letter Swiss. If you use the Letter Spearmint, use Resume Spearmint. Put them together that way with respect to those. If you're going to use Microsoft Word, which I highly suggest, same thing, right? We're going to start a new document, and if you just put in cover letter, a whole bunch of online templates come in, and it's just all different cover letters. I highly suggest using Microsoft Word. I think that it gives better templates, and definitely cover letter templates, and will help you a lot. But again, try and match it up to your resume. So that's basically how you're creating your cover letter. An example cover letter is here. So if you open a link, it shows an example cover letter, what it's like, and kind of what you want to follow. Also, we didn't put it before, but the sample resume, it's good. It's not bad. But this references available on request. Always put your references. Imagine that you are a person in charge of hiring, and you've got to hire someone, and you've got to sift through 500 resumes, and then all of a sudden someone puts available upon request. That gives you one more step. You just throw it out because you don't have time to do that. So include your references. So that's generally how to make a cover letter and how to make a resume. I know this video was a little bit longer, but if you stuck with it, it's a really important concept that you'll use your entire life. So we'll see you next time. Hey, if you're still here, there's one more thing I want to add. Most companies these days, they're looking for an e-resume. So LinkedIn is an excellent resume website that helps you build a resume, and you can link it onto your own written resume as well, or if you're emailing out to people. Most employers are now looking for these e-resumes, so very important. I'll give you a look at mine really quick. So this is mine, and this is supposed to be what you see a little bit, but obviously there's some parts that are meant for me. This is the link to my e-resume. It's got a picture of me. It shows what I'm doing currently. It's got a bit of backdrop which I put with my personality. I really like hockey and I played hockey, so I put that in there. And then it's got kind of an e-resume, and it's linked to everything. And I've added documents, and I've put all my certifications up there. And then people have also endorsed me for different things, which is awesome. And then, I've got awards, and I put that up there. And this is the kind of thing that people are looking for. And not only are people looking for that, a site like this has employers coming to it, and they're just searching keywords and terms, and then your resume pops up automatically, and they're offering you jobs that you didn't even think about applying for. So these kind of things are really awesome for the future. Last thing is, when you're applying for a job, don't just apply for a job that you don't really want and isn't going to help you with your career in the future. If you want to be a doctor in the future, don't apply as a server or don't apply as a dishwasher. Apply in the healthcare profession, something that will help you along in your career in the future. Even in high school, these jobs are available, and go in there and ask them if they want a high school student to help work there or whatever, and they'll give you money, and sometimes they even pay better than the minimum wage McDonald's job. And now, I'm not saying anything bad against McDonald's, because McDonald's has been known to give really excellent training. So hopefully all these tips have really helped you out in your job hunt process, and good luck.